Hi, I'm Karen Garvey. I'm your intuitive coach. Welcome to my YouTube channel. At this time of year, we like to think about Halloween costumes and the masks and all the layers that we put on when we're hiding who we are underneath. You know, there's a lot of trickery involved and it can be really fun, especially if you're trying to completely mask who you are. But what I find is that Halloween's not the only time of the year that we're doing that, is it? There's a lot of reasons why we're wearing different masks to hide our true nature, our true identity. And those steps that create those layers and those levels of separation from people being able to understand who you really are, they start in childhood, unknowingly. Let's take a look at how we're born and how those masks and layers appear, and more importantly, how they affect you and how they affect your ability to reach your maximum happiness. Here's what it looks like. At birth, you're born whole. The full of you is intact. Think of it as a very, very full circle. And over time, you are exposed to misinformation, sometimes even negative people, abuse, neglect, different things that are not soulful behavior. It's not a criticism of all of the people around you. It's just human nature that everyone adopts some kind of masks and layers throughout their own lives. And that's the way they will treat everybody they meet, including a newborn or a child, that their lens of perception is how they interact with you. What their vast experience is the only way that they know to raise you, be with you, or interact with you. So as you are bombarded with information or behaviors that aren't soulful or loving or respecting exactly who you are as an individual, you start to put on layers of their misinformation, layers of abuse if you experienced any kind of abusive situations when you were younger, layers of neglect, people who are indifferent to you or would prefer you be quiet or invisible. Those masks and layers, what they do is they take the whole of who you are, that radiant energy, that vibrancy, and it makes you act as if you're smaller and smaller and smaller. Think of it in terms of like hiding a light bulb and putting some kind of layer around it, which dims the vividness of that light. So when we become adults, at some point we have forgotten exactly who we are. And we walk through life projecting ourselves as being the composite of all of these masks and layers that we develop. It means that we don't know necessarily anymore who we really are. We don't know the unlimited creative person that we are, the unlimited talented, the unlimited loving, the unlimited lovableness of ourselves. And when you move through the world, developing relationships, perhaps developing careers and intimate connections with others, when you move through the world with that body of hidden elements all around you, you're going to detract from your own joy, your own ability to be who you are by nature, what your soul's intention is, what your purpose is, what your creative spark is. So although it might be fun to masquerade at a party, and it might be fun to put on costumes at Halloween, at least you're aware that you're wearing that clothing and you can peel it off and believe that you're back to your true self. The challenge with the non-Halloween masks and layers is that you're not aware. You're not aware of the pain that you carry. You're not aware that this separates you from the vibrant self that you are. So one thing to kind of think about is, what can I do to remove some of that stuff that's on me and find out who I really am? It truly starts with a program of learning to love yourself. So let me give you a couple of tricks that'll bring you to the treat of removing some of those masks and layers. One way to begin this is to create a mantra or repeat a mantra on a regular basis. I channeled one years ago that a lot of people find to be very effective in helping us remove some of that stuff that we're holding on to. So let me tell you what that is, and if it's one that works for you, terrific, you can adopt it. If you prefer using your own language or something that feels more comfortable for you, feel free to jot down your own or even more than one. But what we're looking for is a simple reminder that you were born to enjoy all of the happiness and riches and abundance that this world has to offer. So listen to what I can give you as a suggestion and use it as a jumping point for yourself. But repeat after me. I was born to be happy, prosperous, and harmonious. The world is my canvas for personal fulfillment, and I am fearless in painting this canvas brilliantly. So what you want to do with this saying, as you see it here or as you have written it, is to affirm each day, maybe a few times a day until you boot up the real energy behind it. But if you repeat this, and as you're repeating it, start to feel a sense of joy or start to sense a feeling of realness, that you get that this is the truth and any other way that you were living was false. So bring in the vibration of this feeling. It's even a good idea as you become more adept at saying it and feeling positive about it. It's a good idea even to stand in front of a mirror as you say it and listen for your own joy. Smile in the mirror. Make sure that you're sensing it, not just saying the words flatly. You want to bring that vibrancy in behind your words. And a second tool for you to use is to remember that you are not flawed. I'm sure that there are aspects of your personality or your past behaviors or choices, things that you did or did not do, that you probably feel some level of regret or even shame. You wish you could redo it. What you do is you start to take on a sense of feeling like you're less than or unworthy or flawed. What you want to do today is to remind yourself that you are not flawed. You are not innately flawed. Anytime you are demonstrating behaviors which are ones that you're not proud of or other people are showing you that they don't find them to be likable, it's because of something that happened in your childhood and it's coming up as a mask or a layer and it's preventing you from being your full, joyful self. So what you want to do is just start keeping a little notebook or even a pad or a piece of paper. And every time you feel that there's something about your choices of words or behavior or things you do or things you don't do that you find disagreeable and you've been beating yourself up about them, write it down quickly. Jot it down while it's still fresh in your mind. And as you are recording some of those actions and inactions or behaviors, make a separate column on the other side and say, this is the truth about me. So for example, if you find yourself perpetually being late to everything you attend, rather than saying, oh, I'm such an idiot, I can't get anywhere on time, everyone's always so mad at me, I'm going to do better, instead say, I know there's a reason that I want to be in control of my arrival time. And I'm sure that that reason stems from something from my childhood. But I am not flawed, and it is my choice whether I want to continue to be late or not. So what we're not doing is saying, totally, absolutely, I'm going to change and never be late again. We're not saying I was always failing or flawed. We're recognizing that there's a cause and a consequence. There's something that started a behavior, and now you're recognizing that the behavior is a choice. It might not fully peel off the mask or the layer, but it's a good start to get down to the core of remembering that you are not flawed. So do yourself a favor, and this Halloween, make sure that you're paying attention to the most important treat of all, and that is the treat of growing in your love of yourself. It's going to get you farther in life than a piece of candy or a masquerade party. This topic is so important that I actually wrote a whole book called Begin Here on growing and recovering your love of self. It's important because it is the foundation for all the success and happiness that you will ever have in life. If you love yourself fully, you can truly be the person that you were meant to be. Limitless, vibrant, creative, abundant, and harmonious. One of the other ways that I communicate with people on a regular basis about how they can make life improvements is through social media. I'll oftentimes create memes to help bring in a particular topic that people may be struggling with. And this topic of kind of recovering the self that we were born with happens to have created a plethora of memes from me over the years. But I want to take a minute just to take a peek at one of them to help illustrate. And on an ongoing basis, we will peek at our memes and dissect them a little bit so we can get more value out of one sentence understandings. So let's take a look at this one. The concept is that whether you are 27 or 87, life begins when you move away from past childhood pain. Now, I don't just say this philosophically. I say this because I know. I myself went through a couple of years of going through the exercises that I bring forth on my channel and through social media and through my online course, Happy in 90. And I know that these exercises work. And I can tell you that when I moved from the pain of my own childhood, I felt like this burden or this cloud that followed me all over my whole life, and I didn't even know it was there. I just felt it lift and disappear. You know, I know it sounds a little bit like a movie moment or something where, you know, it's raining and raining and raining, and then all of a sudden the rain disappears and the gray clouds go away and the sky opens up and the sun shines down and this beautiful music comes on. And I have to tell you that that's pretty much what it felt like. I walked through this door where I was born into being myself. I became a person who could make my own choices, choose my own life, choose my own freedom, choose my own abundance, choose my own perceptions and attitudes and behaviors. It is so liberating, which is why I encourage you to pursue it even more. This topic is large enough that one video is certainly not going to be enough for us to really get down to how do we return to the soul that we were born. So if you subscribe today, you'll be notified when we have far more in-depth conversations, techniques, and tools that can help you get to become the most vibrant self that you can be. It may seem scary to remove your masks and layers, but I can guarantee that you will find out, and everyone will agree, that you are always more beautiful when the true you shines through.